Good morning. I am Anil Agarwal, former Chief Manager, Punjab National Bank. Yesterday I started my series for various lectures on JIB examination. So this is second video in this series. Now second topic for this course is commercial banks. Now what is the objective of a commercial bank? The bank is defined as an organization which accepts deposit from the public for the purpose of lending and investment. So what is the basic objective of a bank? To mobilize deposits from public and use this deposit for lending as well as investments. So the commercial banks are those organizations, those are engaged in this. And India has a very long history of commercial banks. The present commercial bank that is existing in India are grouped in various categories. Now one set of commercial banks are foreign banks. They are incorporated in another country and having branch in India. Another is State Bank. Earlier we were having State Bank and its group. Now the group banks are already merged into State Bank of India. So the second segment is State Bank. Third segment is the banks those were in private sector at one time but subsequently taken over by Government of India, and they are called nationalized banks. So the first nationalization took in 1969 by then Prime Minister Mrs. Indira Gandhi, and second nationalization also took under her tenure, that was her second tenure in 1980 when 6 more banks were nationalized. So there was a group of 20 nationalized banks, where first batch of 14 nationalized banks and 6 nationalized banks. In 1993, one nationalized bank, that is New Bank of India, was merged into Punjab National Bank. So thereafter there were 19 nationalized banks. Now these 19 nationalized banks were continuing and still continuing. But now from 1st April 2019, 3 banks will have three-way merger and the new entity will be called Bank of Baroda. So in this Bank of Baroda, the Vijaya Bank and Dena Bank will merge and the larger entity will be called Bank of Baroda. So after that, the number of nationalized banks will reduce to 17 and banks are asked to go for consolidation further, and further mergers we may see in coming years. Then there was another bank that was created under banner of IDBI Bank. So IDBI was a financial institution. It started its own bank under the banner of IDBI Bank, and later the IDBI was merged into IDBI Bank and it became a larger entity. So it started as a private bank. But to take advantage of its ownership and to take advantage of deposits from government departments, they asked government to classify them as public sector bank. And through parliamentary note, the IDBI bank got a tag of a public sector bank. So in public sector category, we are having 3 types of banks at present. One is State Bank, another is Nationalized Bank, and third is IDBI Bank. Of late, government has allowed LIC to have majority stake in IDBI Bank, and by virtue of that, still IDBI Bank continues to be public sector bank because LIC is wholly owned by Government of India. Then we have galaxy of private sector banks. Now these private sector banks are of 2 categories. One is called old generation private sector banks. That means the banks which were given license prior to liberalization that started in 1991. So they are older generation of private sector banks like South Indian Bank, Federal Bank, Dhanlakshmi Bank, Karur Vyasa Bank. So these are older generation, very old private sector banks. Then there was a new generation private sector bank which was started after liberalization, and some financial institution got into banking business. like SDFC Bank, ICICI Bank, then Axis Bank, which was started at UTI Bank. So all these are called commercial banks. Then under the commercial banks category, we have urban cooperative banks also. We have regional rural banks also. We have very small entities also. So commercial bank means any bank who is doing some commercial activity, and commercial activity is acceptance of deposits, lending and investments. Now, what is the role and functions of a commercial bank? Now, if we look at the functions of commercial bank, first is they are accepting deposits under two broad categories. One is called demand deposits, another is called term deposits. The demand deposits are type of deposits where customers will get back the money on demand, like saving account and current account. And the term deposits are where he is giving this money for a particular term or a fixed period. And in this category, the products comes as fixed deposits and recurring deposits. Then second function which these commercial banks are doing is remittance of money. Remittance of money means if one person want to send money within bank or outside bank. So this is done through various processes like NEFT, RTGS, IMS, etc. Then third activity that is carried out by these banks is providing locker facility to customers. Then they carry out foreign exchange activities also. Foreign currency is made available to people. Then there are import and export business that is carried out by commercial banks. Then another activity that is carried out by the banks is providing safe custody of article to customers. Then another is called collection of bills, collection of checks. So customers, those are having the checks within their possession or bills under their possession, these instruments are being collected by these banks. Then another is advances. They make advances for various purposes. These are broadly classified into the category. One is called overdraft. Another is called cash credit limits. Another is called term loans. Then another is called demand loans. Then we have export loans. Then bill financing. So there are various ways of financing that is carried out by the banks. Now, how commercial banks operate? Normally a commercial bank has this one principal office that is called its head office. Head office is responsible for creating policies and implementation of policy and control of its branches. Then every head office is supported by the down offices. They are normally called circle offices and regional office. And below regional and circle offices we have branches, and this is the place from where business originates. So from branches a customer can deal. Now a customer can be a deposit customer or a customer can be of a loans customer. So these branches are manned by headed by a branch manager, and the support of the officers and clerks are given to these branches. Now these branches interact and located at the places where potential is there for business. Now the role of branches is to get the business, maximization of business, and through this business each unit is evaluated whether this unit is in profit or loss. If some branch is not incurring profit, sometimes the bank thinks of closing down the operations also. Because these are commercial banks, so the prime motive is to earn profits. But if we look at the public sector banks, their motive is to earn profit as well as to do social activities. That means all social activities that is started by Government of India or state governments is also carried out through commercial banks. So they may be in the lending of, say, farm lending or lending to weaker sectors, giving support to various government sponsored schemes, or say the government want to distribute some subsidy, that is also done through banking network. As this is happening, the Kisan Samman Yojana, the money will flow into the accounts of the customers and the customers will be able to draw. Besides branch network, bank has a support system. This support system means the ATMs, automatic teller machines, where customers can go and withdraw money 24/7. Then bank has a tie-up with various persons. They are called the business correspondents. So small people, they may be having a machine of the bank, and where customer can visit and deal with the bank. So these are the galaxy of facilities which banks are providing. So commercial banks are part and parcel of economy, and they are instrumental in giving fillip to the overall economic development. Because say a person is having talent and does not have money, so this money will be provided by the bank. So this person who is not producing anything now will start producing something with the help of bank, and will add to the GDP of the country. So the role of commercial banks is very, very crucial in any country. And in India also, the commercial banks are responsible for so many revolutions. The first revolution was Green Revolution. Before that, India was used to import food grains. But with the massive presence of banking, and after nationalization, as the focus of Indian banking shifted towards agriculture, so agriculturists got lot of money in their hands, and thereafter they were able to increase their yields in their field, and today country is self-sufficient. Second major revolution which has happened through banking is support to transport sector. So earlier people were only having vehicles, those were having money in their pocket. But with the support of banking industry, in the public as well as private sector, there is a boom of vehicles across country. And the car loan is easily available, taxi loan is easily available, truck loan is easily available, lorry loan is easily available. So due to that easy availability of funds, the entire sector in transport has shown a tremendous growth. So another area where commercial banks have worked wonders is the professional and self-employed. The banking industry helped setting up of hospitals, nursing homes, then helping the doctors to set up their clinics. So the health services has increased manyfold with the activities of commercial bank. Then another was MSME or SSI, which was the earlier name. The small scale industries were given the lending at a very, very nominal rates by the banks, and the small entrepreneurs could rise and contribute to the GDP due to the support of commercial banks. Then another activity which got lot of boost is housing. So earlier days the funds were not available for purchase of a house. So with commercial banks coming, they are providing lot of housing loans, and many people, those who are not homeless or not owning their houses, are now proud owner of their houses in this country. So commercial banks have played and even the big industries, all large industries are working on account of lending by the commercial banks. So commercial banks, what they are doing, they are taking money from the people who are having surplus money and utilizing this money and giving this money to the people who can contribute to the economy. So economic growth is very, very closely linked with the growth of commercial banks. And in India, commercial banks are rising like anything, right since independence, and even up to independence also, the commercial banks were playing vital role. But the real shift came after nationalization of banking industry. So nationalization was a boom because the concept of class banking converted into mass banking, and each and every individual was able to have access to banking due to nationalization. And the massive money that was lying in the suitcases or lying in the with the people and their homes channelized into banking sector, and in turn that money flown into the economy back, and it has created lot of incomes with the people. So commercial banks are essential part of society. Thank you very much. God bless you.